I'm Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Forsyth County Connections, coming to you the courtesy of the folks here at Cable 2 Studios, and we really appreciate their hospitality in having us. Hope you'll stay with us throughout the whole half hour. We have so many things to talk about, some great programs to mention, everything from the Festival of Lights coming up. We'll give you some information about that. We'll talk about jobs and career opportunities that are around, so much in store. So please stay with us the entire time. Where we want to start, though, is talking about something brand new, the new courthouse. And we do that with a brand new guest. No, he's been on the show before. Damon Sanders-Pratt, Forsyth County Deputy Manager. Good to have you back, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Let's talk about the new courthouse. First of all, why was it needed?
So the Hall of Justice had served its time. It's a 50-year-old facility. It was a dual occupant facility with county staff as well as courthouse staff. And then over time, as both the courthouse staff grew and the county staff grew, the county left the building to go to the government center and then ceded the rest of the building over to the courthouse staff. And eventually they've outgrown it as well. It's not ADA accessible and had other limitations that we were able to remedy with the new facility.
Well, you sort of answered that already, but I'll come at it from a little different angle. How large is the new courthouse, and how does that size differ from the total size of where everybody was packed in before? What's the difference?
So the new courthouse is 240,000 square feet.
Wow.
The old Hall of Justice is 170,000 square feet. It's taller, but it's not as doesn't have as wide a base as does the new courthouse.
See, I'm 70 years old. My base is getting wider, but I'm not taller, so I don't know what that means, Damon. Now, look, a lot of people, now you and I know, and the folks around here know where it's located, but for folks that just moved into the area, where is this new building located?
So it's on Chestnut Street. It's adjacent to the government center where you pay your taxes.
Right.
Cat-a-corner to the detention center. It's in an old location that used to be a Reynolds building. They did manufacturing that burned down,
right?
And then the county acquired it and used that space to build the new courthouse.
Was this, this might be getting into the weeds a little bit, but do you think that the project was completed on time and on budget and everything? Do you think it worked out okay?
It was both of those things. It was on time in that it was an 18-month build, and the contractor managed to meet that, had relatively mild weather during the course of construction. And it was on budget when we had some concern there, whereas we knew that during the pandemic, prices were rising dramatically in construction.
Oh, yeah.
But we were able to beat that, and some subsequent projects have been more expensive than we had hoped for, but that one didn't.
Big question you always get from people who have to drive in from wherever to go to, let's say, the new courthouse or the government center or whatever. The first question is, well, where am I going to park? So put people's mind at ease. What are they going to do here?
So directly across the street, there are 250 public parking spaces. They'll be metered, so the county owns the lot, but the city manages it like it does all the other parking kind of in downtown Winston-Salem. Now, if you're an employee that works in the new courthouse, the county built a new parking deck on the corner of Chestnut and First, and that's where they'll park. But if you're in the public, they will park in that lot across the street. Now, the parking at the Liberty Street deck is still available.
Right.
Where people park to go to the Hall of Justice.
You had the ribbon cutting not too long ago. I saw some photos in the newspaper and some television reports about that. That went pretty well, didn't it? It
did. It was well attended. There were people there, representatives from the city, the county, the state. People were generally excited about it. It was a new facility where they were able to go in it and walk through it and see the courtroom. So that event went really well.
I guess final thing is, and it's probably too early to even ask this, but do you have any sense so far of what kind of feedback, comments maybe you've received from people about the new building, people that have been in there and seen it?
So generally people have been pleased. Now there are some bugs that we'll have to work out on how this new building works relative to what people were used to in the Hall of Justice and to slot those services into a new building.
That's sort of logistic stuff, isn't it?
That's right,
Yeah.
and some acoustic things we're working on, things that are adjacent now that weren't in the past, but overall it's been positive.
And people like it. Damon, I appreciate it. I'm always glad when you come on the show. You explain things so well, and especially people like me, I get confused easily. But I understand everything you're saying, and I'm excited about going in there. I have not been in there yet, so I'll go in there and say that Damon sent me. Is that all right?
Let me know. I'll take you through.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Seriously. Great facility. We'll be right back after this.
Every year, 4.5 million young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 visit the ER.
It's every parent's nightmare.
Umergency gives you all the tools you need to quickly and effectively manage your family's emergency. Umergency provides instant access to vital resources, customized to your student's campus and local community, digital consent form, and built-in urgent alert button. Umergency gives you peace of mind when you need it most. Download your Umergency app now.
Back now on Forsyth County Connections, coming to the studios from here at Cable 2. So glad you stayed with us on this program because we have a very special guest who's going to talk about a special anniversary and a whole lot of other things. Kaky Berry is chairperson of Forsyth County Historic Resources Commission, first-time visitor to the show, and we just met a few minutes ago. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
What would you say is the mission of the Historic Resources Commission, in case people haven't heard of it?
Well, the Commission's purpose is to preserve, protect, and promote Forsyth County's historic resources.
Well, now who serves on the commission and how can folks get involved? They want to be on the commission sometimes, or find out when you meet, or all those things. I mean, how does all that work?
Okay, well, we have a 12-member citizen board. 4 of those positions are designated specifically. We have to have a historic property owner,
Okay.
a historic overlay property owner, a landmark owner, and a licensed architect.
Okay.
Then we have 6 at-large positions that are appointed by the Board of Commissioners or the City Council.
But you don't have to be a politician or anything to be on there, right?
Oh, no.
Okay.
And we have an appointee from Kernersville and one from Clemens.
All right. Now tell me about this recent anniversary celebration. What was that all about, and what kind of anniversary are we talking about?
Okay, we just had our 75th anniversary. In 1948, the Winston-Salem Board of Aldermen created a special zoning ordinance, and they created the Old and Historic Salem District.
Okay, that's right.
And created a board of architectural review to oversee alterations in there. And this was the first historic district in the state of North Carolina.
Wow.
And it was one of the 10 first in the country. And our board was the first board ever in the state of North Carolina.
And such important work too, because to try to preserve the past and do it in a responsible way if you need to make renovations or whatever. That's great. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this. We all know, even if we don't know everything we should about historic preservation, we've all driven down the road and seen these historic markers.
All right.
Is that something y'all are responsible for?
Yes, we are. We have a historic marker program. The Historic Marker Committee is a standing committee of our commission. And once a year, we take applications. They're due in October. The committee then will hear presentations, and they will score the presentations, and then we will select markers to be put up for that year. We have 2 within the city of Winston-Salem, 1 in unincorporated Forsyth County.
Okay. Now, any big events coming up in 2024? Let's look ahead. Anything I should know about?
Well, right now, we're in the process of the markers. Our markers for 2024 will be approved at our January meeting.
Okay.
And then we will have marker unveilings. But there's not a set time for that. We work with the applicant for a time that's best for them.
Okay.
Our education committee will do something for Black History Month, and also for May, which is Historic Preservation Month. We are in the planning process right now, so I really can't tell you anything definite we're going to do.
Right.
Like in May last year for Historic Preservation Month, we did a trivia contest on Forsyth County trivia that was very well received.
That's right, that's right.
And we've been asked to do that again. I don't know if we will or not. But in the past, we've done tours of landmarks, and we've done tours of historic sites in the county. So we'll be doing something.
That's right. Knowing you, yes, you will be doing something. Now, what led you personally to be interested in historic preservation and resources?
Well, when I retired, I was looking for something to do to volunteer. When I worked, I didn't have much time to do volunteer work, so I thought this is my opportunity. And there was a position open in the board for a historic landmark historic district owner.
Right.
I live in Old Salem. I own a home in Old Salem.
Okay.
So I thought, well, hey, why not? I'll apply. And I applied and got on it.
That's great. Now, very quickly, before we run out of time, is there a website or something people can learn more about what y'all do?
Yes, we have a website. It's on the City of Winston-Salem website under the Planning Division.
Okay.
And everything that you want to know about our commission is there. We also have our agendas of our meetings posted. We meet the first Wednesday of every month except for July at 4 o'clock in the Bryce Stewart building.
Now, can
And-
anybody attend that?
Yeah, yeah, it's a public meeting.
Okay.
And our agenda is published ahead of time, so you can go on the website, look at the agenda. If it's something you're interested in, come, you can comment to us and watch the proceedings.
Kaky Berry, I'm glad you're looking out for things and preserving our heritage, and thanks for all you do.
Well, thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Stress can keep you from sleeping, affect your moods, hurt your health and your relationships. If you've lost a job, worry about your next meal, or have trouble making it through the day, we can help. Text STRESS to 211-211 to find a solution.
Right now on Forsyth County Connections, and once in a while we're surprised when we have a special guest drop by, and one of them just dropped by and he happens to be a good friend. He didn't drop by because we're good friends. He dropped by because he's got important things to say, and I want to hear what he has to say. Of course, we're talking about Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough, Forsyth County. Good to see you, Sheriff.
It's always good to see you, my friend, always.
What's your top priorities right now?
Right now, top priorities is staffing. You know, we went through this crisis of shortage of personnel in the detention center as well as sworn. And so I'm excited now. You know, we were at one point 102, we're at 90. Since the commissioners has increased the salaries, we've made some drastic changes. And actually, we have 20 new persons that'll be a part of our team.
Wow.
In 2 weeks. So we'll go from 90 to 70 in about 2 weeks.
And so people understand, you talk a shortage of 70, where you had a shortage of 90, is that what you're saying?
So originally we had a shortage of 102.
Okay.
And it went from 102 to 90. And with the new pay increase of $49,000 starting, you get to choose what shift you want to go on.
Oh, good.
If you choose to go on to the 7P to 7A, that's $6,000 on top of the $49,000. So basically you're talking about $55,000 to start on second shift. And so since we've launched that through social media, print media, we literally have 20 people in the pipeline that are scheduled to start in 2 weeks, which will drop our numbers drastically.
So you're chipping away at it.
Oh, we're chipping away at it. We're chipping away at it.
What's it going to take, Sheriff, to chip away all of it? And if we've got a shortage of 70 detention officers, what's it going to take and how long will it take to get down to zero?
So I think that, you know, there has been a shift during COVID and during the social unrest. People were anti-law enforcement. People didn't want to work in law enforcement. People were working from home. So many things change our culture and change how we look at employment. You know, you look at the employment rate just across this country, just across in various professions, you saw that they took a hit. And so we have to make our wages competitive. And I'm grateful for, as I said, the county commissioners and the general public that got behind that push and were able to increase the pay. Because, you know, at the end of the day, everybody wants to have a certain quality of life.
Yeah.
And especially when you talk about working in a detention center, it takes a special kind of individual.
That's what I was going to ask you. That's a tough job. I sit here saying it like I know. I don't know. But from talking to you over the years, I get sort of an inkling of what's required, and it's very tough. It's stressful, and these folks deserve what they get.
Oh, without question, without question. You know, we talk about a free society. In a free society, there are essential workers that you must have in order for that society to be free. In order for that infrastructure to function, you have to have people in place, one of them being safety and security, one of them being detention officers, one of them being law enforcement officers. Those are a must in our society. And as a society, we have to look at the wages in which we pay those that are truly essential.
Now, before we lose time, I want to shift for just a second. I know our main focus is on hiring detention workers.
Sure.
But from a public safety standpoint, what's got you worried right now?
You know what? What's got me worried now, just from looking at the FBI reports, looking at a lot of things that are happening in the Middle East, is to stay vigilant here at home, to make sure that we're watching a lot of things that are happening, just simultaneously that are happening. So every day, you know, we're vigilant. Every day, we're running systems, we're running checks. Every day we're making sure that the public is safe. Every day put in a lot of hours of overtime in, as you probably can tell in my voice. You know, we're out there, and we know we don't mind being out there because we signed up to protect and serve. But that would be top of mind if I had to say what am I worried or what am I concerned about.
Yeah, but Sheriff, people say, hey, that's stuff that's happening overseas.
Yeah, you know, Martin said sometime years ago, even before I was born, what directly affects one indirectly affects all of us. Even though it's happening in the Middle East, we have a lot of involvement. You know, just if you look at this, the advisories that the State Department put out, if you look at the advisories that the FBI puts out, you know, this is the time that we must be vigilant.
Hate crimes go up.
Hate crimes go up, not to mention that we're having violence happening all around us prior to all of the conflict. So this is a very turbulent time, and law enforcement must be vigilant during that time.
And we need law enforcement, and I know there was a time there politically, and not to get into politics, about people wanting to defund this and defund that, but I'm glad you guys are here, and I appreciate the job you're doing. I'm a big fan of yours, as you know.
Likewise, I'm a fan of yours.
And I'm so glad we got that extra funding for the detention officers. So
I appreciate you. Yeah, you know, I can't say enough. You know, I've known you for years. I appreciate the support, not only supporting me, but what you do in the community that changed the landscape, putting information out there that is needed, and having frank conversations. And so I want to thank you, the public, the commissioners, and all of you that have made the changes that are making us the great county that we should be.
all right, Sheriff, you take care of yourself.
I appreciate you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Do you like staying up late? If so, we have the perfect position for you.
Ready to make a difference while the world is sleeping.
Join our team. The safety of others in your control.
We are one team.
Your legacy starts here.
Starting pay up to $68,000. So come visit us at gofcsonc.org.
Back now on the Forsyth County Connections. So glad you stayed with us. And we have a special guest, first-time visitors to the show. With me right now is Tina Lewis. She's a manager of social work program for Adult Services Division in the Forsyth County Department of Social Services. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about being here.
Yeah, you've been helping elderly folks and families and adults for many, many years. You don't look like it, but I know from talking to you beforehand that you have. What is Adult Services Holiday Giving all about in general?
The initiative started in 2013 with an in-home aid program manager. Her name is Sarah Taylor. I want to give a shout out to her. Great job. We had an actual tree, so it was the angel tree concept, and we would put the wish list on the tree, and the county employees would select from the tree, shop for our clients, and bring those gifts back. And then those gifts were delivered by the social workers.
Okay.
And so that's an exciting
So that's
time.
why some of us older folks remember the angel tree concept, but then you changed it, right?
Right. I've changed it because due to COVID, due to the pandemic, we could not have a tree. We had to change to a virtual platform. And in order to do that, we use Sign Up Genius. And that gives us an opportunity to list all of the wish lists, and we're calling those slots. And you can pick your slot, and you can shop for that person, and again, bring that gift to Department of Social Services.
When we talk about adults, and I know you help the elderly as well, what age range folks are we talking about that you're going to help?
Yes, so they are age 18 and older, disabled adults, or elderly.
Okay. And how do you know what kind of things that they might need? Because I know you're pretty smart, but you're not a mind reader, so I want to know how you find out.
Absolutely, very good question. Our social workers submit their wish list, and the clients are our clients from the adult division. Within the adult division, we serve clients that are with adult protective services, guardianship, in-home services, assisted living services. So again, those social workers would submit those wish lists. So it's going to be tailored to that individual adult. It's not cookie cutter. Everybody doesn't get a can of popcorn.
Right.
It's going to be based on what their needs are.
What their needs are. And I think you sent me an email one day that I was reading. It talked about that before you really got this going, and now it's kind of a growing deal and everybody's helping out. It's a great team effort, community effort. But before that, weren't the individual social workers having to pay out of their pockets for stuff?
They were. And the reason they did that is because some of these clients are alone, their loved ones have passed, or they may be in facilities and their loved ones may be in a totally different state or different county. And again, their social worker is their contact and whom they look to for their needs.
What I kind of want to ask you a personal question. What kind of gratification do you derive from being involved in this program? What does it do for you?
Oh my, it's I can't even put it to words. It's amazing to see the love and the support that our division receives, to know that we're helping meet needs, and these are practical requests. They may request sheets, towels, clothing, winter clothing,
necessities,
shoes. To know that those needs are being met, it gives me so much joy, as it does for all of those that are shopping. They're giving, but they're being blessed by it as well.
They get back.
Right, to give back.
Giving, yeah. Why, we have a few seconds left. Why is public support so important in this effort? Because a lot of times people sit back and say, well, I heard Tina talking about a program, and I guess the county takes care of all that, and you know, they don't really need me to chip in or do anything. Why should the public get behind this?
Because resources are limited. Our county resources are limited, as well as the resources of the individuals are limited. And we're not in a position to meet every need. We would love to, but we're just not in that position.
Is there a website or anywhere people can go for more information to sort of keep up with all this?
Yes, our Forsyth County website.
Okay, then go to that.
Yes.
Tina, thanks for everything you do. You're just a delightful person, and what you do is so important, and I hope you come back sometime.
I hope to. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. We'll be right back after this.
Feeling unsafe? Help is one tap away with Urgent Alert. Upload your insurance card and your medical consent form so your family can speak to medical staff. Download your emergency now while it's still free, before stuff happens.
Back now for the final segment on this edition of Forsyth County Connections, coming to you from the studios of Cable 2. And as we do, or try to do each year, it's about the time of year where we want to talk about Festival of Lights. It's a great thing if you've never been through it. And we're going to talk to a gentleman who knows all about it. Drew Wiles is Manager of Marketing and Events for the Forsyth County Department of Parks and Recreation. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, for people that just moved into the area, and they say, wait a minute, what are y'all talking about? What's Festival of Lights? Tell me.
So it's a drive-through light show. It's put on by Forsyth County Parks and Rec at Tanglewood Park. The route in total is about 5 miles long. It takes about 45 minutes to get through it by car, and there's a ton of light displays, over 1 million light bulbs in it.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just pretty cool.
Now, when will the show? I guess because sometimes when we tape this, just as a disclaimer, we're taping this middle November. Just in case there's some time lag into December, how long will the lights be up? How long will the show keep going?
So this year we're open from November 17th all the way through New Year's Day, so January 1st. And we're open nightly, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The only night we won't be open that late will be New Year's Eve, where we close at 10 p.m.
Okay. Now, is there a cost? Obviously, I think I know the answer to this. Is there a cost again this year to get into the show? What is that, and is there a discount available?
Yes and yes. So the regular price for admission, it is a tiered-based pricing system based on what kind of car you come in. Just a normal family vehicle is $20 with cash and $23 if you pay with card.
Okay.
For a commercial vehicle or a small bus, something along those lines, it would be $45 in cash and $48 with card. And then for a large bus or a motor coach, it'd be $115 in cash and then $118 in card.
But that small van thing you were talking about, that's pretty economical, because when you think about it, you're not doing a per person charge. And if you pack 12 people into a van, for what did you say, $48? I mean, that's a pretty good, $45.
Yes,
yeah, that's pretty good. Now, this is going to sound weird, but is there a way to enjoy the Festival of Lights and all this stuff you work so hard on? Is there a way to do that if you don't drive through?
For sure. So we, one of the things that we actually offer with Festival of Lights are Tanglewood Stables operation. They offer horse-drawn carriage rides as well as tractor-pulled hay rides. They do require a reservation, so call ahead of time, and you can book those by calling the number that we'll have here on the screen.
Okay. And so the hay rides and stuff, that stuff is just so much fun. And do it in a group, so school group, church group, family, whatever can do that. Now, when you say call, I don't know if we have the number or not, but I'm going to ask you, ask you now before I forget, is there a website or a phone number that you want to mention so that I don't forget that? What would you say?
So for the website where you can find all the numbers and everything, it would just be forsyth.cc/parks, and then you would navigate to the Festival of Lights.
I got you. Now let's give give a tip here on visiting the Festival of Lights. Is there a best time of the week to visit? Do you have, you have any advice for folks?
So the advice that we give people, it is a very popular show. We see upwards of 50,000 cars in a season. So on the weekends it can get crowded. Traffic can back up within the show. For probably a more leisurely experience, if you just want to kind of drive through the show and see it and, not have to get caught in traffic or anything like that, you can come on the weekday or earlier in the show, so November, early December.
So if I want to go out on a Tuesday evening, it would open at what time?
It would still open 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
6 p.m.
The show would be exactly the same. The prices would be the same. There would probably just be less traffic that night.
I got you. One last thing, and we didn't rehearse this or anything, but I'm curious. If I went to it last year and saying, well, this is the greatest thing ever, you all did a great job. What if somebody comes up and says, hey, Drew, is there anything different this year? What do you say?
Yep, so a majority of the show is similar. The amount of displays we have out there, we try to move them around here and there, make it a bit of a unique experience year to year, but a lot of it is similar. Our newest display this year, we have a huge LED video board. It's programmable down to each light bulb, and we can kind of convey any messages or any video scenes that we want up there. So you'll see that with, it'll have our logo on it. It'll have different holiday scenes on it and stuff like that.
Sounds great. Drew, thanks for bringing us up to speed on that and all the hard work y'all are doing to get it right. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you for having me.
As we wrap up, I just want to mention, of course, this has been up behind us the whole time, so I might as well say connectwith.forsythcountync.gov. That'll get you to all sorts of things. The videos are all over YouTube, so enjoy those. I want to thank, of course, TJ James, Kevin Wren, of the good folks here at Cable 2, Jeff Abrigio, who is on the team and does the editing, post-production, and our executive producers, Ed McNeil and Dudley Watts. For all those folks and myself, thanks for the hospitality here at Cable 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time for Forsyth County Connections.